Hi, my name is Reiner. I'm a former CTO and technology leader. I spent most of my career in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, California. Actually, 20 years there. And I moved back to Berlin 2016, so it's now been about 4 years, 4 or 5 years back in Berlin. I work now in the role of a leadership coach and trainer. And my focus area there is mindful leadership. The first question you may think about now is technology leader, mindful leadership. How does this match? Right? What happened to me back in 2015, I had a major, unexpected, and disruptive event in my life. And with this, all of a sudden, I discovered mindfulness. Mindfulness in form, the way I got introduced to mindfulness was a 8-week course, MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. It's a weekly course, it's about 1 hour roughly. And prior to that, I had no experience and no exposure to mindfulness at all. So that was the first time I got exposed to this, and I felt relatively quickly all those benefits of mindfulness. Benefits where when I looked at them, what happened to me was I became more stress resilient. That allowed me to make better decisions, even under pressure. But I also was able to balance my work life much better. Right? Everything that I lived healthier all of a sudden. The stress disappeared gradually, which was great. And with that came increase of abilities, for instance, of self-awareness, self-reflection, that allowed me to observe even my own thoughts, right, much better. And I discovered a lot of, I would call it baggage in my mind, right, limiting thoughts, false beliefs, old reactive patterns that now I became aware of. And then I figured, oh, what can I do? How can I convert those or transform those into something more helpful? So I learned all those things, and I connected also deeper to my intuition. With this, I could integrate my intuition into the decision process. That means the quality again of my decisions, I felt they basically came to a new level. So very positive. And if I summarize this, I was really prospering and benefiting from the application of mindfulness personally. But then I figured, how can I use this in the work context, in the business context? If I could just take a few of these benefits and apply them to my leadership team and my organizations, this would be massive impact. So I started experimenting with mindful leadership, the idea of mindful leadership. And back in this time in 2016 or so, mindful leadership was not that popular or fancy or whatever word to use. It was not widespread. And specifically here in Berlin, it was not something that was like a typical, you would see it in businesses. It was mostly traditional leadership techniques and development programs offered. But mindful leadership was something, it didn't really exist. So I created ideas, I experimented with these ideas of mindful leadership in my organizations. And I looked at things, I experimented, and I quickly seen, oh, this works well, this doesn't work. Fine, if it doesn't work, let's get rid of it, let's try something else. And with this curiosity and experimentation mindset, I was able to really see a lot of positive results, and also relatively quickly. For example, when you look at the topic of communication and collaboration in my teams, I've seen a significant improvement in these areas. People would work really together. There was a common sense of we're all in the same boat, so to speak. And it was less about competition, it was unity. People would come together and working towards a shared objective. And that was great. The working environment became, for that reason, much more pleasant. Stress levels went down as well. And people were just motivated to show up in the morning to contribute. And therefore the quality of the products, but as well as the quantity, right? Numbers improve. Different KPIs, key performance indicators, were actually validating that there is something positive happening there. So that was great. And last not least, I've seen a significant measurable increase as well in the quality of decisions in my leadership team. Lots of benefits. And depending on your context, you can imagine that these effects, what I'm just describing, in your business context, they could also be very valuable. And it just depends how much at the end of the day this would affect your bottom line. It depends just on the scale you're operating and how well you can implement those things to basically fully see and reap these transformational benefits that are happening. So a lot of personal benefits on one side with mindfulness, then applying mindfulness in form of mindful leadership to your leadership team and organization. So a lot of good stuff basically happening, a lot of measurable benefits. And the purpose here was in this short video to give you first introduce myself, obviously a little bit, my context, my focus areas, introduce you a little bit to the benefits that you can basically gain for yourself with mindfulness, and also mindful leadership applied to organizations. So I hope this motivates you to learn more in terms of how can you now for yourself go from here and think about learning it. What are the steps involved to actually go from here to there to learn mindfulness, mindful leadership? What does it take to do it? How can it be done? And for that reason, I created a short 15-20 minute webinar, and that one contains the main ideas on how you could proceed. And obviously everyone is different, is at a different point in life, different journey, or different stage on the journey. And so I summarized all the main ideas on options that are available and how you could proceed in this webinar. And it would be great if you're interested. All you have to do is basically scroll down. There is a sign up form, and then you have access to the video. It's obviously completely free. The idea is that you can basically go to the next step and see what it takes to make progress towards these benefiting from all these good things that can happen.